Weekend, Staffy. It's a big game, but many people believe that Liverpool will destroy Manchester United. How do you see this weekend going, mate?
I was hoping we'd go the whole episode without speaking about that. I thought you forgot. That was a good thing. We hit the hour and 30 mark. We're not going to speak about the game. Good thing.
We're going a bit longer
Uh,
today. If you guys have got the time, yeah, we're well behind, but we can stay a bit longer if you want. So
yeah, it's not going to be a good day. Listen, I heard Ernie Slot in his press conference say that he tripled down on it that United are much better than what the table shows. And Arnie Slot might be a very nice guy. He seems like someone who likes to compliment people. Maybe if you want an honest opinion, don't ask Arnie Slot, because if you're wearing a horrible top and you go ask for your opinion, hey, how do I look in this? He's still gonna tell you you look amazing. Maybe the top is shit, but he won't tell you, because we're not much better than what we are in the table. Maybe we should be better. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we should be 14th, but I don't know about much better. Arnie
That's
Slot
just
probably
managers.
been
They always do that. You big up the opposition to
yeah,
lower
he's just doing
expectations.
He's doing the PR thing, and he has to stay respectful, be humble about it. But yeah, listen, if he honestly believes that, then I'm assuming maybe he doesn't watch United a lot, so that might give us a chance to win the game. Because if he does realistically watch us, he wouldn't say that. We listen, we're not. It's going to be such a tough game, and it's so sad that we are already struggling. And when you look at our first half of the season, we actually played a lot of the easier games. There's a lot of teams that we lost to that we still have to play away. So our second half of the season is much tougher than the first, and it starts with a trip to Anfield. And with the way they're performing right now, and with their tactical flexibility, I honestly give us no chance. I give us no chance at all. I don't think we'll get battered like a lot of people are saying, but I think our chances have never been slimmer to pick up not a win, to pick up a point in general. They're absolutely steamrolling everyone. I mean, you just saw them last week, Lawless. So I don't need to tell you what they could do. And with the way we're playing and with the mistakes that we're making, and I don't even think Amarim. I trust him. I have a lot of faith in him to know how he wants to approach the game. But I don't think it's clear cut how you can look at this United team and say, how did they approach the game? How did they set up against Liverpool? How can they nullify Liverpool? I don't think of any way or any 11 or any approach for this game where we go and we nullify Liverpool. I generally don't. I don't think we'll lose 5, 6, 7-0 like people were saying, but I just don't see anything. I think we're gonna have to move Ahmed back to the wing because we're struggling to score goals. So we're gonna have to put Ahmed back in right wing and bring in an extra attacker, or maybe put Anthony in right wing to bring in an extra attacker in those wing backs. We don't score goals. It's statistically proven we don't score goals when Dallo and Mazraoui are playing. And we have a back line that's leaking mistakes, a lot of personal mistakes. I'd look at this game and I'm like, I don't even want Martinez to start. But if Martinez doesn't start, what does that mean? Does that mean I play Mazraoui there, or do I play Euro? Euro's much younger. It's a headache that I don't want to have, and I feel bad for Amarim. I wouldn't want to be him. I really wouldn't want to be him going into this game. You look at this Liverpool team; they're absolutely flying. Their back line to their midfield to the front line. I don't even need to speak about the front line. You guys see them every week. Salah, whether it's Jota, whether it's Gakpo, whether it's Diaz, they're all performing at high levels. Their midfield, Gravenberch has been one of the best midfielders of the season. Him and McAllister have been doing a great job together. I don't see how we go into this game and get anything, honestly. And this, I'm not even trying to be negative. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. So it's not going to be a good day for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Staffy. Like, I feel like it's one of them games where, like I said, everyone's predicting a battering, but I think Man United will go up there and park the bus. I don't think you'll be giving up as many chances maybe as you did to Newcastle in that first half, and probably set up closes like you did against Arsenal when the pressure is on, and the expectation will be on Liverpool. You know what I mean? And it's it's not a local derby, but it's a derby. So yeah, I can't see it being like you said 5-6 or the 7-0 that happened before. I think it'll be one of them ones where Man United will frustrate Liverpool for large portions of the game, but the goal is going to be inevitable, really, because they've got too much talent. Man United are a team struggling, so yeah, it wouldn't really surprise me. The expectations are like 5-0, and then it ends up being like a 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Hey, what do you think?
Yeah, look, we have to park the bus if people want to use that expression. We need to be very difficult to break down, and we need to the sort of people predicting 6 and 7 and 8s. If that happens, then I want some contracts of players mutually or forcefully tore up, kicked out of football club. When we lost to them 7-0 a few seasons back, that wasn't bad tactics. That wasn't Liverpool being amazing. That was players giving up. The reason I say that is we came third in the league that season. So even being objective about it, there's 15, 16, 17 other teams that are worse than us. And they all went away to Liverpool. Some of them got relegated with terribly poor win ratios, terribly poor even draw levels. Lost so many games. They didn't concede 7. That's players giving up. For me, that's complete. If we sort of ship 5, 6, 7 goals plus, there is no excuse for the players. There is nothing. We need to be hard to break down. We need to be resolute. We've got to press at the right times. It's going to be very hard for us to get anything out of this game. 110%. I'm not looking forward to it. I have very little hope of anything more than hopefully a narrow defeat. When I say narrow, like honestly, right now, I hate saying this. If someone said, Terry, you can take a 1-0 defeat now, I'd probably say yes, because it's recoverable. There's no damage in terms of like there's no banter attached to that per se. There isn't, oh my God, you got slapped up 5-6. I am worried about these players more than anything else. I'm worried about if they concede early, where will their heads go? I'm worried about if they get a bit of adversity in the game, where do their heads lead to? That for me, more so than 3 at the back, 5 at the back, 10 at the back. I don't give a fuck. That I'm fine with. I think Amorim will set us up in a way where we are hard to break down. I know he didn't against West Ham in the opening 20 minutes. He made a mistake. I expect him to not make that mistake again. I'm just fearful that some of these players, Lisandro Martinez, as an example,
I think he should get dropped, if I'm being honest.
No, I hear you. I'm just worried that they will make a mistake, and then that kind of, when someone yawns in front of you and then you all start yawning, that starts to happen, and then we concede 3, and then players don't start working. They don't keep tracking back, and they just give up a little bit. And if you do that to Liverpool, they're our biggest rivals. They will go for the jugular, not just for their own points and goal difference, but we could be the team to stick it to Man United. And I am fearful of it. And people say, Terry, you got PTSD. I have. That 7-0, I worry about it happening again. Buying that from the time that happened till now, if we'd have started the rebuild correctly under Ten Hag, had bought the right types of players, had the right culture at the club, we'd be too strong for that to happen to again. It shouldn't ever happen again. And
that team that lost 7-0 played better than this team. We actually should have never lost 7-0. If you remember that first half, we actually should have been winning.
That team did play well, but what that team had, and a lot of them players are still here, is that team had no ability to handle adversity. They're a team that, when the going gets, they're fair weather riders. So when it's sunny and it's warm and it's dry, they're out on their motorbikes. Yeah, love it. Fair weather riders, we call them in England. Gets a little bit cold, a little bit wet, their motorbikes get covered up, put away, and they don't use them again until the summer. Now, I'm not a motorbike enthusiast, but I've got family that are. Real motorbike enthusiasts hate riders like that. They call them fair weather riders. You're not a real motorbike person, right? We have players like that. When the going gets tough, when the weather's a little bit, don't literally mean the weather. I'm speaking it like when the weather ain't great, when it's a little cold, when something goes wrong, they don't want to be there and they stop playing. And that for me is what I'm more focused on in this game than almost anything else. What is the attitude of the players like from the first whistle to the end? And look, if we could pull something off, if we could stop Liverpool and get a stinky 0-0 draw, I'm not saying I'll celebrate it per se, but I'll walk away with a little smile on my face. Like I really, really would. And some will say, Terry, oh, how the mighty have fallen. We have fallen. The same people that will say that will say to us, you're a finished, dusted club. And then when you say I'll be happy with a draw away at Liverpool, how can you say that? That's why I said earlier, I'm not having those conversations anymore. I'm just not having those, because it's just nonsense. I saw someone yesterday, same guy, tweet this, and I went, do you know what? I've got to let it all go. Ha ha, United have got no money. United are broke. The next day when there was talk about more cuts. How dare your club make cuts? Yesterday you said we're broke and finished. Now you're saying we shouldn't make cuts. Those two things have to exist at the same time if you're right, my friend. It's a hard conversation to have. But yeah, listen, I'd take a 1-0 right now. But Look, if we can grab a draw, I'll be happy. I just can't see it though in my heart of hearts. To be honest,
you're right in terms of you have to not concede early. That's going to be the key, because you get that early goal, then you worry it's the floodgates open, and then they get the second and heads drop. If the longer you can hold out, the more chance you have of getting a narrow defeat. But I can't even see a draw or anything.
It's like Twisted Brothers questions. I'm just not interacting with these anymore because you watch everything I do, Twisted. You watch every video I do. You're even in the group chat for many years. So you know my stance on this. You know my views on this. You don't have to keep asking the questions over and over and over again in hope that I suddenly give a different answer. So you can go, you said something different before. And normally when I change my mind, I've already addressed why I changed my mind at an earlier date. So I'm just not answering them anymore. Terry, would you take a 3-0 loss right now? No, I wouldn't. No, like I just said, I'd probably take the 1-0 right now with how fearful I am of this game. And it's only because of the run of defeats that we've had as well. And look, I mean, what I am intrigued to see this week is how we look after a week of training. It's the first week of training he's had at the club. His first 2 or 3 training sessions with the team. The frustrating bit, we're going to have 2 weeks running where we're going to have training. But the first 2 games we have where there's training is away at Liverpool and away at Arsenal, where we have terrible records. So it's just the next couple of weeks, I think, for Man United fans, I'm looking at players' attitude. I'm looking at how hard they run. I'm looking at them keeping in shape. And I'm looking for them to fight more so than how good do we move the ball? What do the patterns look like? How many goals did we score? I'm really focused on the attitude of these players at this point, and I am hopeful, Ruben could get a bit more out of them, that he can get them up to another level. Maybe the mistakes they've been making in games, maybe we don't see it. We're football fans. We're not trained like these coaches. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, they work on things and it clicks for a few people how they're meant to play. I was looking at someone used Eddie Howe as an example the other day to say, well, Eddie Howe got his team winning straight away and Ruben's crap. It's not true. They won one of their first 10 games and they lost most of them. It wasn't until the January when they started having training sessions because they weren't playing twice a week. And by the way, they had more training sessions than United did. And started buying people that they started to improve. But he implemented these systems straight away. And I think that it just takes time. And I'm just annoyed. Not annoyed, that's the wrong word. I'm speaking as a Man United fan wholly here. First time we get 2 weeks of training since Ruben's been here and have games with Liverpool away and Arsenal away. It's just fucking bad luck, I think. Bad luck, especially if you come out on listen, I say bad luck. Come out of that with a draw and a win, and maybe you view it differently, but I just can't see that right now, personally. I can't.
Who do you have at the club in terms of players that you look to understand the significant importance of this, like historically, to realize this is a massive, important game to the fans? Because I think that's always key. That's what I look to when West Ham are playing. Them players that know this is a dog.
The manager spoke today about that. He said we're what did he say? He said we're basically desperate for leaders in this team. I forgot the exact words he said, but something within those words, that we're desperate for leaders.
Yeah. So you're
generally no one.
He's right. So I think the players understand the significance. So I would answer slightly differently. I think they get it. They're just not leaders. And when the going gets tough, they cower away. It's their nature. And you'll probably find, this is, again, if we had the access the mainstream did, I'd love to sit there and talk to football clubs and ex-pros and ask them, who were the players that cowered away? Not to try and throw dirt, but I think loads of squads have players like what United have got. But what they also have, the top teams, is 2, 3, 4, 5 leaders. There was a time when Man United had something like 4 or 5, maybe even more, international captains all in their team. So theoretically, you had 6 or 7 captains on the pitch every week. So yeah, you might have 4 or 5 players whose heads drop when things go wrong. But if you've got those leaders to pick you up, we just don't have great leaders. And we slagged off Maguire and we slagged off Bruno, and they're not been particularly great. At the same time, it's not their fault that they're maybe the best leaders we've got. The club need to recruit. But I think it's one of the things that Declan Rice has. You'll know this. I think above and beyond any ability that you think he does or does not have, his leadership ability is worth so much money, because I think there are more technical footballers in the world than there are leaders of football teams, and you've got to get that balance right. Sometimes you need an individual that if you can get both things, if you can get someone who's a technician and an amazing consistent footballer and a great leader, then you're absolutely laughing. But yeah, we have, as Staffy said, no one that I have any faith in to do that for us right now.
Well, Bruno's back, isn't he, from his suspension?
The last time we went there, we didn't lose and Bruno wasn't there. So that's not really an advantage, is it, Lawless?
Yeah.
But I have a little bit of a trivia question to everyone in the chat and maybe to the panel. Everyone, just take a guess. When's the last time United scored a goal in Anfield in the league?
Ooh.
That would have been Wayne Rooney back in 2015.
No. I think that was the last win.
When we won. Then the last goal must have been under Ollie.
So it's Ollie.
I don't remember the date.
It was Jesse Lingard in 2018.
There we go. So was that Ollie or Jose? It was Jose, wasn't it?
It was Jose. Remember when Shaqiri scored 2 goals and Jose got sacked?
Yes.
He scored a bunch of goals with Ollie.
We haven't scored there in 7 years.
Yeah, since 2018.
This is one of your driest goals, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of goals.
Fucking hell.
So you got to hope that defense is on point because you ain't outscoring Liverpool.
That is crazy. This here says, Arsenal fan, I need to see United get embarrassed or Liverpool drop points. If Liverpool win a dodgy 2-1 with a last-minute goal, I will be fuming. I get why you'd think that. We have not scored a goal in the league since City. This is true. We've been awful since then. We've been awful. But
you haven't seen a goal in how many games?
3.
Fuck. Do you know what? I haven't seen a goal in 2 games, actually. Actually, no. I've seen a game. No. It's only 1 game.
You've seen, you had 1 goal in 3 games. 1 goal.
1 goal in 3 games. It feels like I haven't seen any goals.
And the worst, it's all over Christmas as well. The games are so compact. It's like how my team lost every Christmas game and not scored a fucking goal. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Imagine it's worse for you guys. You live in England. It's Christmas time. You're sitting there. You're gathering with your family. I'm imagining a family full of United fans. They're just all sitting there. Let's watch the game together. No goals. They watch again. No goals. They watch for a 3rd time. No goals. What a holiday season for them.
Mate, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. The worst part about us is, and I'm sure the same as for Chelsea, in most of those games, we should have scored a number of goals. I mean, even Newcastle, and rivals don't like hearing it. But we brought Manu on. We took control back of the game. Højlund should be hitting the target at least, if not scoring. Casemiro should be scoring. Maguire's hit the post. Fair enough, as an example. There was another one that came later in the game. Lenny Yoro from a header. Like, the goal was gaping. This is what's annoying. Goals change games. If Casemiro's goal goes in and we maintain the possession like we did, you don't know the way a game can end up. And it's why at this particular juncture, this is why I say Gyökeres scores one of those chances, in my opinion, and the game could change. This here says, big up Clueless, Stuffy, and Tell. Will die on this hill. If United keep Højlund and stick with Amorim, he will score 20 goals per game in the Prem. You mean per season in the Prem in 2 seasons' time, is what Tony says here. It's a big prediction, Tony. It's a big prediction, T. Lots learning from Ten Hag's media gaslighting. Yeah, but it's sensible to do that as well. If you really want to, if you tell teams, if he said this is the worst Man United team ever and they beat him 4-0, it's not an achievement. Boxers to get it wrong all the time. If you're a boxer, you should always big your opponent up and say how great they are because it makes your CV look a little bit better. Do you know what I mean?
What manager's ever done that before a game saying, yeah, they're terrible right now. This should be easy.
There's no point slot. Listen, they're much better than we are, but there's no point slot doing a team talk for us because we have seen in the past managers do things like that. And then it gives the other team a little bit of a G up. It gives the other team a little bit of a boost to go, all right, we're gonna show you then. And the worst thing he could do is say Man United are crap because that might just help Man United lose 1-0, not 4-0. Do you know what I mean? Another big